Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, this is Ashima, and in this video we will be talking about current affairs. So what is this discussion going to involve? In this whole video we'll be talking about the news events, and those events are going to be discussed as per the importance for the examination. That is, the points have been taken which will be helping you in preparation of your examination and also enhance your note making on all of these news events. That is, in improving your notes involved for current affairs, that is going to be benefited with it. For those who want to practice the questions alongside, that is, you want to practice the question pattern also, for all of them we have a quiz which happens every day on Entry app. You can download this app from Google Play Store, and then you can select the examination you are appearing in, do the registration process, the initial registration steps, and after that, once that is complete, you can avail this quiz free of cost. Along with that, you get 7 days of free trial as well on all the courses that are available on Entry app on various examinations. Alongside, the new thing about Entry app is that we have multiple languages option for you. That is, vernacular languages are present. That will help you in understanding, in even if you want in regional language, be it Urdu or you want it in Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam or Marathi or whatever language you prefer, the languages are available. So you can check out the app and gain the maximum benefits out of it. Now we'll be moving ahead with our news events. The first news event that we're going to talk about is Europe's largest solar power plant. Now, what is there in this power plant? First of all, who is going to develop it? It's going to be developed by Spain and France, as both of them have come to an agreement. And this solar plant is going to be 590 megawatt solar power plant. Right now, since it is signed between Spain and France, so between which of the bodies were there? So Iberdrola of Spain and Danone of France, both of them have agreed to sign on an agreement to set up this Europe's biggest solar power plant. Now, if we talk about what this solar plant is going to be costing and what will be the outcome, so it is going to build at a cost of about 364 million US dollars. Where is it going to be set up? In Cacareces, which is you can say the western province of Cacareces is the exact place where it is going to be set up, and that is in Spain. So basically the country is Spain, and Spain is currently the busiest subsidy free photovoltaic market of Europe. That is, in 2020, if we see, Spain had commissioned about 2.9 gigawatts of solar plant. In 2019, there was 729 megawatt of solar power. So they are subsequently increasing a lot in the amount of solar energy they are generating, right? And in 2020, if we see a total of, you can say it has 4 times. So in 2019 it was 729 megawatts, and that they've increased to 2.9 gigawatts, right? So that tells that they've increased to more than 2 times, and now again they are on the rise for 2021, right? Now, this project which they are going to develop, this is going to be completed by 2022, or it's functional, it will be functional by 2022. With this whole news event, there was a recent event that we had taken that had taken place in India, and that was the largest floating solar power plant. Now, this largest floating solar power plant is going to be set up in India on Omkareshwar Dam. Omkareshwar Dam in MP. So this is important that where it is going to be set up, because it is going to be the largest floating solar power plant of the world on Omkareshwar Dam, which is built on Narmada River. Right, so this is again back to news. It was announced in around, I guess, December or January beginning was the time it was announced, and we had talked about it in our news events video as well. Right, so you must know where Omkareshwar Dam is, on which river is it built, because it is going to be the host of the largest floating solar power plant. Then, next is 2 giant radio galaxies have been discovered recently. Now, what is important from this discovery is that who has discovered it. So, this has been discovered using a telescope, which is Meerkat Radio Telescope. This telescope is very important, and you can expect a few questions from this telescope as of now. right? Now, the discovery of galaxies was done under a certain survey that was going on. And what was the name of the survey? That was MIGHTY survey. So there's a MIGHTY survey going on, and under that survey, or while conducting that survey, two galaxies were discovered, which were approximately bigger than 93% of the other galaxies. That is, it is among the rare 6% of the galaxies, right? The 7% of the galaxies. Now, they are even bigger than Milky Way, that is 62 times bigger than Milky Way, if we talk about that. Now, if we talk about Meerkat Radio Telescope, as I told you, this is an important telescope now. So, it is located in Northern Cape of South Africa, and it is a radio telescope with 64 antennas present, right? Now, Meerkat telescope is one of the four precursors of the final square kilometer array, or SKA. So there are four telescopes under SKA, or square kilometer array, out of which one is Meerkat. What are the other three? They are Hydrogen Epoch of Reionization Array of South Africa, Murchison Wildfield Array of Western Australia, and Australian SKA Pathfinder. These are the other three, and the fourth one is Meerkat telescope in South Africa. Now, SKA, or square kilometer array, is a intergovernmental radio telescope project between South Africa and Australia. So this is again important, that SKA is between which of the following two countries, it can be asked. So SKA is a intergovernmental radio telescope project between South Africa and Australia. And what is the purpose of SKA? Is to make an international effort so that the largest radio telescope of the world can be developed, right? Now, next is Operation Sardhawa. Now, this operation has been launched by Border Security Force, or BSF. Now, what are the specialities and what is the purpose and where it is going to be launched? We'll be talking about that. Which part has it been launched in? It has been launched in the western border of Rajasthan, right? And now, at this duration of time, that is in January, we have a lot of fog. Dense fog is there in the region, and because of that fog, there are chances of the chances of infiltration are comparatively higher. And as of now, currently Republic Day is closed, so there are more of the reasons why infiltration can be possibly running. So for that, or to prevent that, BSF, or Border Security Force, has launched Operation Sardhawa, which is going to run till 27th of January 2021. Right? So it is like keeping a hawk's eye on international borders so that no other people, no infiltration can take place. And intelligence wing has been activated in that region. More troops have been brought in because this time is something which it favors the infiltration, you can say, for that purpose. Right? Now, talking more about that, BSF, if we talk about BSF, is also called First Wall of Defense of Indian Territories. Right? It was set up in at the time when 1965 war was going on, that is Indo-Pak War of 1965, and BSF is the world's largest border guarding force because this force is deployed. It is headed by an IPS, or Indian Police Service, and it is basically the force which strengthens the border of the India. So it borders India, or it saves the border, and it works with various other forces like with CRPF also, with army also, for counter-insurgency operations. I'm sorry, for counter-insurgency operations, it works with other forces also. But this is the largest border guarding force. So over here you have certain questions as to where is this operation launched, what is the name of the operation, who has launched this operation, which force is known as the First Wall of Defense of Indian Territories, and which is the world's largest border guarding force. Next, New START Treaty. Now, this treaty was already into force. This has been extended as of now. So, as the new President of United States of America has taken the position, he has decided to extend this treaty to another 5 years. So, what are the countries involved and what is this treaty? So, First of all, the START Treaty is a strategic arms reduction treaty, and this treaty does not involve India. This treaty is of Russia and United States of America, which was signed in 2010, came to force in 2011 for 10 years. So, with 10 years in 2021, it was going to end in February. Now, it has been extended to 5 years because the provision was that if both the countries agree, then it can be extended to another 5 years. So that is why it has been extended to 5 years now, right? And it was supposed to be lapsing by February 2021 in the initial part, right? Now, START 1 was there, which was the framework signed between the countries in 1991. Then after that, START 2 was supposed to take place, and START 2 never ever entered into the treaty. And after that, when START 2 was not there, START 3 treaty could never be concluded for that matter, right? Now, this in this treaty, what is more important for all of us is that which countries are involved, what is the full form, when was it signed, where was it signed, that was in Prague. So where was it signed, and when did it come to force, what was the initial time, how long has it been extended for, and what is the purpose. So it is for reducing the nuclear armed production and utilization by United States as well as Russia. Then UN resolution on safeguarding the religious sites. This has been signed by around 22, 23 countries as of now. And the purpose is to promote culture of peace and tolerance in safeguarding the religious sites. Now, what is the purpose is bring in religious harmony. So respect for all the religions of the world, all their faiths and culture and history, everything, building more cooperation among the countries on basis of religion, better communication between the countries for religious discussions and understanding the religion of other countries, standing together and staying together. These are all the ideas which are there under this treaty. Now, in this, what has gained a satire is that first of all, India is there definitely. India is definitely a part of it. India is one of those countries which has the biggest diversity of religions. Right, so definitely India is a part of it, but Pakistan was also the co-sponsor of the resolution. And Pakistan, why was it gaining the irony? Is because recently what Pakistan had done was demolish a lot of temples in Karak, Pakistan. There were a lot of Hindu temples who were broken down and destroyed. And in 2020 December only, Jamaat Ulema Islam Party, they attacked a lot of temples in Karak district. So after that, promoting this idea that is present over here was kind of a satire, and India took place on that. So after that, then we have 20 other countries, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, who are the sponsors of the resolution, and India is also a part of this resolution. All right. Next, Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. Now, what is happening on this treaty? This treaty was signed in 2017, or it was adopted in 2017, and finally it has come to force in 2021. Right. So this treaty is in news because although it was signed in 2017, it has come to force in 2021 on 22nd of January. And this is the first legally binding international agreement, right, to eliminate all the nuclear weapons completely. So this has a complete elimination. This favors complete elimination of nuclear weapons, and this is the first treaty to do that legally, right? So this is why this treaty was important. Now, who had approved this? This was approved by UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, had approved it in 2017 when this treaty was supposedly there, but only 120 countries have signed the treaty. Not all countries have signed, and it has faced a lot of oppositions for that matter, including the oppositions from India. So India, US, China, France, Japan, North Korea, Russia, Pakistan, Israel, all these countries have opposed this treaty as a whole. Now, why India has opposed? Because India already has a policy of no first use. That is, it does not use nuclear weapons first. If someone is attacking using nuclear weapons, then India would use them. Otherwise, India doesn't use that. India already has that policy. Then we also have a no use against non-nuclear weapon states. That is, those countries which do not have nuclear power, India won't use nuclear power against them. Right. So this India already has. And we have a fissile material cutoff treaty already present. So we have not signed the non-proliferation treaty, we have not signed the comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty, and we have also not signed this treaty. Right, that is treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons, because India already follows its principles, whereas this policy wants to completely eliminate nuclear weapons, which is not supposedly uh, favored by India on that part. Right, then rapid assessment system. Now a rapid assessment system has been brought in for COVID-19 vaccination feedback. So via this assessment system, feedback is going to be taken, and that feedback is going to help in seeing how the vaccine is reacting in you can say the citizens or in people as general. Right, so uh, as SMS is sent to all the people who have received the vaccine. So SMS is sent to the people in time span of 4 days, and they have to respond to that SMS. If within 24 hours they do not respond, then a call is made. And who has designed this whole system? It was developed by Ministry of Electronics and IT. And what is the purpose? That if vaccine is giving certain bad reactions on a large scale, then we need to stop the vaccine or make certain changes. So to understand that, we need to have a feedback, and that feedback needs to be taken from those people who have taken the vaccine. So for that purpose, right now SMS is going to be sent in local languages, so that you don't have a reason to not answer to that. So Hindi, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Marathi, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi, all these languages are going to be taken care of, or the message is going to be taken in all of these languages. Right, now there was a CoWIN platform, if you people remember, which was launched some time back for vaccine delivery, right, which records all the data of vaccine, and it has a smart app also, via which the storehouse temperature can be managed using that app of all the places, like wherever the vaccines are stored. So CoWIN is based on EVIN, and at that time I told you EVIN is important, Electronic Vaccine Intelligence Network. Now CoWIN was launched specially for COVID, but EVIN was already running since 2015. Since 2015 we have this EVIN, which is an indigenous program or indigenous technology, which supports universal immunization program of Government of India, and a part of this or a subsidiary of this is CoWIN, you can say. Right, then a few one-liners. Union Minister of Tribal Affairs has recently launched Shram Shakti, which is a national migration support portal. And here we have important as to who is the Union Minister of Tribal Affairs, who has launched Shram Shakti, and what is this portal about. Then Asia Cooperation Dialogue was held recently under the name The New Normal, Safe and Healthy Tourism. And it has also adopted the Ankara Declaration in the end of the meet. Both of them are important. That is, when was Ankara Declaration adopted, and the New Normal and Safe Healthy Tourism themed dialogue was held by whom? So that was by India Cooperation Dialogue. Right, and with this we'll be winding up the segment. Thank you so much, and I hope this session has been helpful to all of you. We'll see you in the next video with more information and more news events. Until then, goodbye, take care, do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share the video as much as you can. See you soon.